Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hello. Let's get started because we only have 17 minutes now. Can everybody see my screens? See my screen? I only have one screen. See my screen and hear me? Excellent. Lovely. Great. Thank you. It would be really quite embarrassing if I did a webinar and no one could actually see my screen. So first of all, who am I and how can I help you? So I know a lot of you on the webinar today, and that's wonderful. But there's also some of you that I don't know, and I always think it's important to kind of say who you are and what it is that you do, because you're just about to spend 17 minutes with me right now, so thank you. And I do apologise, I do have a slight cold today. So if I'm swallowing a lot and drinking water, it's because my mouth is dry and I've got a blocked nose. So just bear with me there if you can. So answering that question, who am I? My name is Rachel, as we know, and I specialise in working with financial advisors. So all I do day in, day out is marketing for financial advisors. So please be rest assured that everything I share with you today is practical. And it works. So I know you can see the top of my screen, so never mind, it doesn't matter about that. So it's practical and it works, and it's practical. I know that it works because I do it every single day, okay? So before we start today, I'd like to say that I believe there are 4 types of people. So I'm going to do a bit, oh, can I maximize? Oh, it's really weird that, oh, that's not going to work, is it? Sorry. Is that better for everybody now? Is that, can you see, Antoinette, can you see now? Is that better for you guys? It might have been my screen. I could have had it a bit small. Oh, no, it's worse. It's too big. Okay, bear with me. Is that better? Is that better, guys? Worse. No, worse. Yes, yes, better. Excellent. Thank you, guys. That's brilliant. Ah, phew, you can see the slides. Great. Thank you. Thanks for the feedback. Okay, so I wanted to get on a bit of a rant before I go into today, because I think there's really 4 types of people, and you tell me if you think there's more or less, but I think that there are sort of 4 types. There's those that take action. There's those that don't take any action. There's those that procrastinate, and there's those that blame others. Now, if I was to ask you, which one of those are you with regards to seeking clients through referrals or introductions? You know, which bucket would you put yourself into? Are you a doer? Are you a non-doer? Are you a procrastinator, or are you a blamer? Now, I'm thinking that if you're right here, right now, you're either a doer or a procrastinator, which is great because it means that we can actually work together. So let's start with my promise for you today. My promise is that you can see my screen, see my slides, but my promise is that I will share with you a proven process to gaining more referrals. Before I do that though, I have a disclaimer, just like you guys have a disclaimer. There's more than one way to skin a cat, and depending on the size and location of your business will determine how much you need to drill down into each of these steps. And I'll explain more about what I mean as I go through them. But be rest assured, these steps work. And I think it'll give you a process that you can easily follow. And I know how you all love a process. So I know that gaining referrals or introductions, and there is a difference, is typically on the minds of most financial advisors. So attracting clients through others, whether it's existing clients, professional referral partners, or other people that you know in your life, is the most efficient marketing strategy there is for financial advisors. We know that. But we also know that people aren't waking up each morning jumping out of bed saying, I must get some insurance advice today, or I must get some advice on my super. It just doesn't happen. However, we do know that if, say, their accountant or a family member or even a friend talks about the value of personal protection or getting their financial matters in order, it can actually prompt them to have that meeting or to have that call with you right away. And I know that through the work that I do, sometimes it can take clients up to 2 years, even though you've been referred, it can take them up to 2 years to actually pick up the phone and call you. Now, I'd like to share a quick conversation with you, if I could, I had with a with someone yesterday who I know is on this webinar today, and they rang and we were having a general chat, and they said that an advisor had shared with them that for clients to suggest their friends that they should go and see a financial advisor, it's a very personal thing. It's a bit like telling a friend that they should see a dietitian, you know, lose weight or something else, just as personal. And I totally agree. I can validate that because one of the services I do is I go and talk to clients of advisors through the client surveys that I do. And I know that when I ask the clients, you know, have you ever referred or introduced a friend to, let's say, Bob, the financial advisor, they'll typically say one of three things. They'll either say, A, I didn't know Bob wanted any more clients. B, yes, I've mentioned Bob's name to a friend. Or C, oh, I couldn't do that. It's a very personal thing. I don't know what their financial situation is or even if they could afford the fees. So I share that conversation with you because through the work that I do with advisors, it's absolutely spot on. Sometimes your clients don't feel comfortable talking about what they perceive as personal things in their lives. And I think we'll all agree it's a very personal conversation. So my message here is there's more than one way to skin a cat for a business to gain more ideal clients, and it has to be what we call a multi-channel approach. So let's move straight on. With that in mind, grab your pens and I want you to write down these 7 proven referral steps that you can take immediately in your business. Now remember, we've only got 17 minutes, so I have to talk really quickly. There's not that much time for questions, so I've got to get all this content out for you. However, if you've got questions, write them down and I will get back to you. So there is nothing stopping you from taking any of these steps. There's no compliance issues, there's no X-Plan or coin or IT issues, and there's no budget excuses. So for some of you, this will be an excellent starting point. And for others, perhaps a reminder that following a process to build solid business relationships is the best way to go. So let's delve straight in. Step number 1 is asking yourselves, who do you want to gain introductions from? An obvious question, you may think, but thinking about the answer will help you focus. And this is where I think the procrastinator comes in, because they just don't focus and make things happen. So what I'd love you to do, not now, afterwards, is write a list of all the businesses and professionals that you want to meet with. They may be in your local area or they might be associated with your clients. We never cold call. Instead, after you've created your spreadsheet, because I know you love spreadsheets, add a column that says how you will contact them. Now, you can reach people in so many ways nowadays. The most obvious are through other people that they already know, or you can do it via LinkedIn. Now, using LinkedIn properly is not cold calling. And you can probably find every single person's business details on LinkedIn, and you can send them a personalized message inviting them to connect. They either will or they won't. If they know someone that you're connected to, you can also very simply ask your connection to introduce them to you. 99% of people will. It's an easy thing to do. Now, if you'd like any LinkedIn training, let me know and we can organize that. A recent example I'd love to give you, an advisor I was working with wanted to meet with some of his clients' peers, and they were part of a specialized association. So rather than giving the responsibility up to his client to give him names, because I'm always very much, it's not your client's job to get you clients, it's yours, he did some research and he identified 3 people he wanted to make contact with. So he rang his client to ask his advice about the best way to get in contact with them. So did you hear that? He rang his client and said, I want to get some advice. So what do you think his client did? He went, mate, I'll shoot them, your details now, and I'll CC you in, and you can call them. Would that be okay with you, mate? I think genuinely people like to help others, but don't make it hard for them. By asking your client what their advice would be, makes them feel good. It makes them feel as though they're doing something nice for someone who helps them. It's human nature. All I'm suggesting is do the research, you do the work, find out exactly who you'd like to meet, and then go to a client with the names and ask their advice about the best way to connect. They may be able to give you even more background information or other names that they think might be able to help you. Does that make sense? So remember, there's always more than one way to skin a cat, but this is a proven practice that works for doing that research and gaining the names. So what's the purpose? What's the purpose of reaching out? So this is the second step that you need to go through as a business. So you've got your list completed and you're now ready to make that first move, make that contact. And I think what happens at this stage is that some start questioning, why would someone want to meet with them? And my really strong recommendation here is always be honest. I know that you are, but really cut through. Tell people straight up that the purpose of you reaching out is because you'd like to explore the opportunity of looking at doing business together, of helping each other out. Because when you communicate with people in a very open and honest way, they're more responsive with you and they're more likely to reach out and meet with you as well. So a lot of this comes down to confidence. So a lot of this referral stuff is skill, experience, but a lot of it is mindset and confidence. So knowing what you do adds so much value to people's lives and also other people's and professionals is spot on. So let them know very openly that you're looking to partner with a small group of professionals, that you've conducted some research about them, and based on your research, you believe you could add a lot of value to each other's businesses. Now, this is one of those steps that will vary business to business. So, you know, I said at the beginning, it depends on the size, complexity, and location of your business. That particular step might need to be drilled down even further. But for today, I hope you get that message and what that step is. Okay, the next one. How will you communicate and demonstrate your value? Now, I know this is a big one. I know, and one part of the process that some really struggle with, and I think they overthink it. And sometimes you make it more complex than it needs to be. So you need to communicate your values, is my suggestion, and what it is that you actually do more than once. Simply having one meeting with someone and expecting them to understand you and refer you is simply crazy. So think of it like a dating stage. I've written about this lots of times before. Think about it as a dating stage. Remember when you were dating? If most of you have, I suspect that you have, chances are you didn't decide to get married on the first date, did you? So be realistic and strategic at this stage. This is one of those steps that I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, depending on the nature of your business size, etc., will depend on how many times you need to date. So how many times you need to have a meeting with this potential referral partner before business can get done. So for example, a business I'm working with at the moment, the process we've developed to demonstrate the value is to meet with them, learn all about their business, and then we'll go back to the potential referral partner with a business proposal. And in that business proposal, we're going to show how we believe, based on what we've heard, they can add, or the client, the advisor, can add value to their business. And then we'll probably go through, I would suspect, 3 or 4 meetings before we start talking about JVs or revenue sharings or stuff like that. So another example on a smaller level is you might be looking to partner with a finance broker. So the best value add with them at the beginning is just the risk piece, not the full financial advice spectrum. It's too hard for them to get their heads around and promote. But focusing just on the risk piece, they can quite easily position your business. And then once you see the potential client, you can position the full spectrum. Does that make sense? It's about listening to what the other business does, the potential referral partner, and seeing which parts of your offering can easily be positioned and add value straight away. So sometimes we don't go in with warts and all. Sometimes we drip feed and educate along the way. So remember, with any of these referral relationships, it takes a long time. In executive search, we used to say it takes a day to hire, a year to fire. And it's a bit similar in terms of this process, but it doesn't take a day to hire. It takes a long time to hire. Okay. So the 4th step is, what is the ideal client? Again, an obvious question, I know, but is it this person? Is that an ideal client? Or is that an ideal client? Or is that an ideal client? The more specific you can be about the types of people you can help, the more you'll be remembered, understood, and referred. So speaking with accountants about the clients you can help is really easy because they get it, they can see the numbers. Other professionals may require a bit more information from you. So if you're dealing with an accountant, they work better with knowing what numbers to look out for, whereas if you're working with, say, a solicitor, it's more situational based, isn't it? It's more about when someone's divorced, inheritance, a business breakup, or so on. So I always say there's 3 goals when you first start talking to other people about what you do. And they are to be understood, to be remembered, and to be referred. So if you go in with all guns blaring saying that you can help every Australian with any financial problem, well, you risk the chance of not being understood, you won't be remembered, and chances are you won't be referred any work either. Versus, if you like, the advisor that positions themselves as a specialist, working with, let's say, recently divorced women. That's just an example. Does that make sense? Because what I'm hearing is that advisors don't have those exclusive referral arrangements with, for example, an accountant. The accountant down the road might send you a client one day, and they might send the other financial advice business a client the next day, because you're both the same. There's absolutely no difference. Okay? Just got to have a little sip of water. My mouth is so dry because of my cold. Excuse me. I'll try not to slurp. Hold on. Don't you hate getting a cold? Oh, so what is your referral process? Again, another important part. So 80% of the people, I don't know why I've got a donkey, I just thought it was really cute. 80% of people, when asked, will say, yes, I referred Fred to one of my friends, and they probably have. But their friends just haven't done anything about it. Even referral partners will say, yeah, I told one of my clients to call you today, but their client didn't call you. And I think, again, this is where a lot of advisors struggle. You perhaps feel awkward about being specific about how people can recommend you and introduce others to your business. So if you want help with this part offline, feel free to contact me, because one strategy doesn't fit all. You must have the conversation about how someone will get in contact with you. Even if it's with a client, just say to them, what's the best way for me to contact Bob? You know, what is the best way? Because my question to you is, have you got any marketing material? Have you got a positioning brochure to help the referral partner promote your business? Have you signed up for an online calendar so that your referral partners or anybody that jumps on your website can easily book a time to have a chat with you? Again, a relevant step that's often overlooked. And I know, working with accountants, because I do work with some accountants too, they will forget to mention they work with a financial advisor. Criminal, I know, but they have so much other stuff to talk about. So a simple A4 flyer or brochure can really help them, because first of all, they remember you, but also it gives them a tool to give to a potential client. We need to remember that other professionals don't know how to position your business, nor should they have to. You should be giving them the tools to make it easier for them. Okay? The next step, we're running over time. The next step is, how will you stay connected? You've got to become impossible to ignore. And what I'm suggesting here is just create a simple strategy of how you're going to remain in contact. Out of sight, out of mind. Top of mind, tip of tongue, all great little sayings. There are 101 ways to stay in touch with people these days without being annoying. So when you're dealing with referral partners, agree on how you will remain in contact with each other. Best practice says that you meet, whether face-to-face or whatever, but you get together every single month religiously. I've seen far too many referral relationships break down through simple lack of regular communication. So please agree on how you're going to do it and stick to it. And the last step in this whole process is be proactive and make change happen. And there's a bit of a funny slide there, so I hope you can see it. Take a proactive approach. If someone you have built a professional relationship with isn't introducing potential clients to you, find some more. It amazes me how many advisors ignore this and just, I don't know, if someone hasn't introduced a potential client to you within the last 6 months, then go out and develop more professional relationships. I'd admit I'm amazed by the amount of advisors that don't have any structure in place. They don't have the business charters, no agreements. All of these elements are what make up this marketing strategy work. Simply hoping and praying that you might get a referral isn't sustainable in this current environment. So those are the 7 steps. They're proven. They're going to expand depending on who your business is and what stage you're at, but none of these steps are earth-shattering. They're all rock solid, proven strategies, which is why I share them with you today. However, I share them with you because I know, working with advisors every day, that sometimes we just need a bit of a reminder about what those steps are. So what are you going to do next? What's on your checklist? So there are several other ideas that I can share depending on the size of your business and the stage of your growth. If you would like more information about how to attract professional alliances, get more referrals from your existing clients, feel free to contact me. It's been you want my details again? Sorry, it's been 17 minutes, so time to get back to work. Now, if there's any other topics that you'd like me to talk about in 17 minutes, all you've got to do is email me and I shall cover them off for you guys. So I trust you've had value today. Go off and do some fabulous work, and I look forward to hearing from you all soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a brilliant day. Thanks. Bye. Get up!